The invention of coffee, it's what keeps me alive. So being a successful inventor requires a lot of luck. As history has shown us, of the thousands upon thousands of inventions created every year, a very small percentage of them actually go on to change the world. But sometimes having a successful invention isn't the lucky part, it's being able to survive the very thing you've created. So this week, I gathered a list of inventors who were successful in creating something that they once dreamed about, but were then killed by that very creation. So here they are, 10 inventors killed by their own inventions. Number 1 is Carl Suchek. Carl Suchek was a Canadian stuntman who became famous for inventing a modified barrel that he called the capsule and riding over Niagara Falls in it. After attempting the stunt amazingly, he did survive, save for some minor injuries. He then attempted the stunt again, this time from a special waterfall made from the top of the Houston Astrodome in Texas. Unfortunately this time, the capsule didn't save him as Suchek hit the rim of the pool instead of the center. The impact shattered both him and the capsule, shortly after which he died. It's funny how back in 1985 you actually had to do something impressive to become famous, like jump off a waterfall. Today dudes be making stupid 6-second Vine videos and people be like, ooh, he's got talent, put him on Ellen. Number 2 is Otto Lilienthal. In 1896, Otto Lilienthal became a pioneer of human aviation. He was the first person to ever make successful gliding attempts repeatedly, reaching distances of up to 250 meters, which was a lot at the time. Newspapers and magazines published his hang glider invention internationally, calling him the Glider King. Unfortunately, on August 10th of that year, his glider stalled in midair, causing him to fall, fracturing his spine and knocking him unconscious. He died just a few days later, with his final words being, "Small sacrifices must be made." I definitely have a lot of respect for Otto Lilienthal, but his idea of a small sacrifice and mine are a little different. For me, you know, death is kind of up there as a large sacrifice, but hey, to each their own. Number 3 is J.G. Parry Thomas. John Godfrey Parry Thomas was a Welsh engineer. He was also a motor racing driver with a goal of creating a car that could break the land speed record. He built a heavily modified car which he called Babs, and in April of 1926 used it to break the land speed record by successfully reaching a speed of over 274 kilometers an hour. That record stood for an entire year before a man named Malcolm Campbell broke it in 1927. Not to be outdone, JG decided to reclaim his record, however he was unsuccessful as during the attempt, one of the chains on the car snapped, partially decapitating him. Well, Mr. Parry Thomas, you were a boss who died doing what he loves, and I would say hats off to you, sir, but I feel like that idiom is a little inappropriate. Number 4 is Thomas Midgley Jr. Thomas Midgley was an American chemist who invented both leaded gasoline and chlorofluorocarbons. Although he was applauded during his time for his inventions, it was later discovered that cars that spew lead into the air isn't exactly good for us, nor are CFCs that destroyed part of our atmosphere, exposing us to harmful UV rays. Because of this, his inventions became known as some of the most destructive in history to both Earth and human life. In 1940, he contracted polio and lead poisoning, causing him to be bedridden. Because of this, he invented a series of pulleys and ropes to get himself out of bed, except that one of the ropes ultimately strangled him, ending his life at the age of 55. And I know a lot of you right now are like, oh, it should have been the lead poisoning that got him. That would have been poetic justice. And to those of you, I say, you're kind of sick. And right. Number 5 is Marie Curie. Marie Curie was a French-Polish physicist and chemist who became famous for discovering several new elements, including radium and polonium. She also invented the theory of radioactivity and the isolation of radioactive isotopes. In 1903, she even won the Nobel Prize along with her husband, Pierre. Unfortunately, the effects of ionizing radiation weren't known at the time, so she conducted most of her work without any safety measures. She even carried radioactive isotopes in test tubes in her pockets and stored them in her desk drawers, noting the pretty blue-green light that the substances gave off in the dark. She ended up dying from aplastic anemia due to the exposure to the radiation. She was like the original Dr. Bruce Banner, except instead of turning big and green, she turned off. Number 6 is Max Valier. Max Valier was an Austrian rocketry pioneer who worked with Fritz von Opel to invent rocket-powered cars and aircrafts. By the late 1920s, Valier decided to start focusing on developing liquid-fueled rockets. On April 19th of 1930, he successfully test drove a rocket car with liquid propulsion that he called the Valier-Hadeland RAX 7. This was a huge accomplishment for Valier and a big step forward for automobiles until 1 month later when an alcohol-fueled rocket exploded during a test, which is probably one of the reasons we're not all driving rocket cars right now. Which kinda sucks. Number 7 is Henry Smolinski. Henry Smolinski and his partner Hal Blake founded a company in 1971 called Advanced Vehicle Engineers with the intention of designing and building a flying car. Their first and only prototype was the AVE Mazar, which allowed you to take flight if you were caught in a traffic jam. It was a brilliant idea, made even more brilliant by the fact that the wings on the car were removable so you could simply put them in the trunk when you didn't plan to fly. However, in 1973, during a routine flight in the Mazar, the wings on the car suddenly detached in mid-air, killing both inventors upon falling. This is an idea that needs to be revisited because we have the technology to make it happen. The only reason that it failed for them is because they basically just tried gluing wings onto a Ford Pinto. I feel like we could do a little better than that today. Number 8 is Franz Reichelt. Franz Reichelt was an Austrian-born French tailor, inventor, and parachuting pioneer. His claim to fame was an invention called a parachute suit, which is exactly what it sounds like. His initial tests with dummies were quite successful, so he decided to test the suit on himself. And I think you know where this is going. On February 4th, 1912, despite attempts by both friends and spectators to dissuade him, he jumped off the first platform of the Eiffel Tower wearing his invention. The parachute failed to deploy and he crashed into the icy ground below. And thus people stopped trying to build parachutes into suits. Number 9 is Horace Lawson. Horace Lawson Hundley was a 40-year-old Confederate Marine engineer who developed hand-powered submarines. During the Civil War, he helped design and build 3 separate models of submarines. On October 15th of 1863, despite not being a part of the crew, Hundley decided to take command of his invention, the H.L. Hundley, during a routine exercise. Shortly after, the vessel sank, killing all 8 members aboard, including Hundley himself. Surprisingly, the submarine was raised and used again, this time actually sinking a ship, becoming the first submarine in history to do so. I feel like it was quite the gamble to use something that already sank once, especially in a combat scenario. I mean, it was successful and all, but really, who was calling the shots there? Well, it already sank once, but let's try it again. And number 10, Henry Fluess. Henry Fluess was an Englishman who invented the closed-circuit oxygen breather in 1876. The invention was intended to be used in the repair of flooded ships. Now, the concept of the suit was brilliant, except there was one major problem. Unlike today's diving tanks, which are filled with atmospheric air, which is about 21% oxygen, the rest mostly being nitrogen, he filled the suit with compressed oxygen. Fun fact, oxygen becomes toxic to humans under pressure, so not knowing this, he went for a dive in the suit, shortly after which he died. That was a good guess. I mean, we do breathe oxygen, but he still should have checked how much oxygen to put in the tank before going for the dive for obvious reasons. But hey, still good guess. And that's it for this time, guys. Speaking of inventive people, if you enjoyed this video, you should definitely check out my friend Household Hacker. He makes all kinds of amazing videos like life hacks and science experiments and cool inventions made from stuff just around the house. So if that interests you, click the link on the screen or in the description. He's a good friend of mine and I really think you're going to enjoy his channel. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please share it on Facebook and Twitter and give that like button a click, and I will see you all back here next Saturday with a brand new video. Peace. No more coffee for me, I'm getting the shakes. Thanks for watching my new video. If you'd like to see future videos from me, remember to click the big red subscribe button below to subscribe to my channel. I release a new video every Saturday. And if you'd like to add me to Facebook and Twitter or check out my second channel, the links to those will be in the description along with all the other important links, as well as a link to check out my good friend Household Hacker, and I will see you back here next Saturday. Bye.